right, welcome to week 18, lesson 18 of Doodling with Purpose, your step-by-step guide to learning hieroglyphics. Now, I know a lot of you can't just travel to Egypt to look at hieroglyphics in person, although it is really cool if you can do that. But one thing you can do from home, in addition to watching these videos, hopefully over and over and over again as you see how they're drawn, is look at things like Egyptian magazines. And do we have magazines anymore? Or, Egyptian movies, and that can include things like, the Mummy, or, some of the fun action adventure Egyptian movies, because all of these things have hieroglyphic in the background. And you can, it's fun to kind of pause or at least say, hey, I recognize that one. That's this sound. Or another great resource is kids' books. All of the kid picture books, which you can find on Amazon or in, Barnes & Noble. These are great because they break down things into a very easy level, and you can see lots and lots of pictures of hieroglyphics. Of course, you could always just Google them, but they're fun to see in context. All right, so let's do a quick review of the 3 glyphs that we learned last week before we move on to this week's glyphs. All right, pencil and paper ready. So last week, first we did the well, which is a U with then kind of a Bart Simpson at the top, and then 2 more Bart Simpsons. This represents lines of water, which we also saw in the N glyph. Next, we are going to do the bat, which is simple like that. And then finally, the papyrus leaf, which is a line, and then 3 triangles at the top. And then you can do the detail inside if you want, which is Bart Simpson and 3 lines. Bart Simpson across and 3 lines. And that is the papyrus leaf. All right, our first new glyph for this week is going to be the Egyptian face. Now, it's not a pharaoh's face. There is a pharaoh glyph that we're going to get to. It's not a sound glyph. It's a determinative. But there is a face glyph that comes up quite a lot. And you see this often, especially because faces are easy to recognize and people know what they're looking at. A lot of the other glyphs you have to kind of decipher, like, is that a jar? Is that a papyrus? But when you see this glyph in magazines or in movies, etc., it's pretty easy to recognize that you're looking at a human face because, nose, eyes, ears, etc. So this is going to be the glyph for the HR sound, her. I sometimes think of it as it's a girl, like her, even though I think it's supposed to be a boy's face or a male face, but that tends to be a trick I use to remember how to do the sound. Pretty easy to draw. You're going to start with a trapezoid. Then we're going to do an oval for the face. Then we're going to do loop down for the ears, a squiggle for the hair. You're going to do 2 for the eyes, dot for the nose, and the mouth is sort of 2 circles. That's the face. So one more time. A trapezoid for the neck. Then we're going to loop up, do an oval. Ears are downward. Hair, a line. You're going to do a curved line up and a curved line down for the eyes. A circle for the nose, and 2 circles for the mouth. One more time. We're going to do a trapezoid for the neck, an oval for the face, curved line down for the ears, squiggly line for the hair, line up and down for the eyes, circle for the nose, and 2 circles for the mouth. All right, the next one we have is the jar. And this is a very Egyptian jar. Not this jar. This is a modern jar full of jam. Kind of makes me hungry for a bagel with jam. But we're talking about an Egyptian jar. And I'm not talking about the jars that they would put, the mummification parts in, the Canubic jars that you see with the heads on them in, picture books and museums. I'm talking about an actual day-by-day jar, the thing that they would carry water in, or rice, or barley, wheat, that kind of thing, that they would actually store things in. And it actually looks a lot like this one here. This is kind of the closest I could find to what the glyph looks like. So it's going to be kind of long and skinny with a little T at the top. So this is what we're actually going to be drawing. And it makes the SHS sound, hus, hus, kind of in the back of the throat, hus is the sound we're going to make. Starts with a triangle without touching, 2 loops up, and then your T at the top. So a triangle without touching, a curved line up, a curved line up, and then a T at the top. One more time. Triangle at the bottom without touching, curved line up, and a T, and that's your jar. All right, our last one for today is going to be the Lotus Leaf and Stem. You can see the leaf here. It kind of looks like it's almost had a bite taken out of it, like a piece of pie is missing. That's what the leaf actually looks like. And this is what the glyph looks like. It's kind of tall with almost what looks like a head on top. Sometimes I think of it like Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors, or kind of like Pac-Man. It kind of looks like you're going to draw Pac-Man, and that's actually a good way to think of it. Not really this version of Pac-Man, like the cartoony version, more like the actual version of Pac-Man from the arcade, the original arcade, like this. So that's kind of what the top of the lotus is going to look like. But don't think of it as a head. You have to think of it as a leaf because the stem does not come from the middle. It comes from more of to the right of it. And it's going to be the ha sound, the ha, ha, ha. All right, so here is the ha sound. So first we'll start with a triangle, then we're going to do a straight line up. Now we're going to make our Pac-Man. Then we're going to have 2 lines coming out from each side. And that's your lotus leaf. So again, we'll start with a triangle, the stem up, the leaf, and note it doesn't go to the exact middle. It goes more towards the front of what would be the Pac-Man, not the exact middle. Triangle, up, 2 leaves on either side, and then the top leaf. Again, connecting at sort of the tip of the chin, not the middle. Those are our 3 new glyphs for today. We are actually about halfway through what are called the bilateral signs, the signs that have 2 consonants. These are the longest group, and then the shortest group at the end will be the trilateral signs, signs that are 3. Definitely, check out some of those books. These books that are made for kids are great because they have so many great pictures. They have, their hieroglyphs on every page, and you can start to spot the glyphs that you know and even sort of pronounce out some of the letters, and it's a great learning tool. Definitely suggest something like that, and, of course, always good to have a little humor on the side. Next week, we're going to continue our bilateral signs. We're about halfway through them. And, have a lot of fun drawing the signs this week. They're fun. And, hey, how often do you get to doodle Pac-Man and feel like you're actually doodling with purpose? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.